Welcome to Sunday Sips with the Scribbler set. I'm Deetra, and I'm really feeling my curls today. They're like giving me life. They're so fluffy.
They look great. I'm
Thank you.
Shantae, and I'm excited for today's topic.
I'm Brittany, and I feel like a princess. I got my flower crown and my tassels hanging here.
You do look like a fairy princess right now.
Whoa,
Even
you
the
can't call her
backdrop.
a fairy princess. That is not allowed in these parts. Fairy
What?
mermaid, fairy mermaid, unicorn. This is the way.
I I'm just saying, like, she's got like the leaves and like all the
I
fairy.
can do both. Like maybe I'm cosplaying as you today.
Okay. If
We
this is
just
how we're
lost
doing
C.
it, if this is how we're doing it.
Oh, say it.
Wait
Look,
a
you're
second.
changing
I don't know what
personas
I'm doing.
today.
Wait. We're all ridiculous. Because
Now you make me want to get my
I
bigger
just want
crown. Like,
no,
hold
this
on.
was not planned. This was not planned, but
Oh, and by the way, Brittany made me this crown. It's
I did.
beautiful.
craftsmanship.
Shantae gave me this crown for my birthday. It's beautiful. Mm. Guys, we
Okay.
like all right, so this is wonderful. I feel
Now that we're
fabulous.
back.
So this week, we have been talking about books and particularly our favorite book or a book that was really meaningful to us. We're all voracious readers. So I know it was very challenging to narrow it down to one book. I had a really hard time, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, what are you guys sipping on today? I have myself a naked rainbow machine drink here because I'm trying to be, I don't know if you could call this healthy, but it's a meal replacement. And there you go. And it has beets in it.
Water out of a Sixers cup.
Nice.
Tummy tea. That's my
See?
tummy.
Yum.
It actually was really easy for me to pick my book this week. It was the first book that came to my mind, so that's what I
Well,
chose.
lucky you. It was not that easy for me. I have read a lot of books. There was one that stood out to me that I did wind up going with, but it was difficult to make a decision. But since it was easy for you to choose, why don't you tell us about your book first?
Okay, so this book, The Young Folks Shelf of Books, Collier's Junior Classics. So there used to be multiple volumes of this on my parents' shelf. We moved a lot because we're a military family. And this is actually not the one that was my favorite. So the one that was my favorite used to have a story called The Hundred Dresses in it. And my loving older brother decided that was the particular book he wanted to use to cut out the insides for and use as a top secret like spy book. He must have saw it on a movie or something. He was 5 minute craft before 5 minute craft existed. Anyways, in case you're wondering what it's like to have an older brother, that about sums it up. Let me also mention he also recorded over my copy, my VHS copy of Charlotte's Web. So he stayed tormenting me. But specifically, The Hundred Dresses was my absolute favorite story in it. I would read and reread and reread and reread. To sum it up, it's a story about a little girl who comes to school in the same dress every day, and she gets teased by her fellow classmates. And she tells them, well, I have 100 dresses. I have 100 dresses. They don't believe her. They tease her relentlessly. One day she stops coming to school. The main character isn't the girl being teased. The main character is a girl who is participating in the teasing. So she notices that the girl stops coming. A few days go by. The school has basically they have a drawing contest. And when the girls go into the classroom, they see like all these pictures of dresses, and it's 100 dresses. And the girl that they had been teasing had drawn, I'm gonna cry. I love the story. I'm sorry. The girl they had been teasing had drawn all of these dresses, and Specifically, she had drawn one for each of her classmates and like
Oh
designed a dress specifically for them. And and she actually won the contest, but she never knew because she never came back. And the main girl tries to find her again and finds out that her family ended up moving because they were receiving too much discrimination because they're poor and they were Polish immigrants. And it's just really sad because she never gets to come back. But the 100 dresses were the 100 dresses she drew for all the people in her school.
no.
I used to read that over and over again. And like as a kid, it was like a very defining, like, be careful how you treat people story for me. Like, you don't know what's going on in people's life, and who cares if she doesn't have 100 dresses? Like, why are you important to note, the main girl participated in the cheating because she was also in the teasing because she was also poor and she didn't want people to know. Her best friend happened to be rich and would give her her hand-me-downs. So in order to not have the teasing turn around on her, that's why she participated. She ends up deeply regretting it, obviously, but yeah, that's really good. Really good.
Do you know who the author is?
Yes, the author is Eleanor Estes. I looked it up and she wrote the book. The book was originally published in 1944.
Oh, wow.
I think it's still relevant to this day.
Oh, and it was about Polish immigrants. So it was probably like having to do with like people immigrating to the US after World War II.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a good story.
It's really good. It's really good. I definitely recommend it. And if you ever have any of these old like encyclopedias or old storybooks in your house, I would say keep them because they have a lot of the original stories, original artwork, and that stuff that kind of gets lost in the world of digital media.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Brittany? You want to go next or you want me to go next?
I'll go. I don't have my books with me. I'm getting all set up in my new place, but the book that started writing in my love for stories for me was Chronicles of Narnia. Like, we read it in school, and something about being able to go into your closet and go into another world just like sucked me in. I was like, oh my God, this is
Chronicles of Narnia. The
Chronicles
of Narnia. I don't know if you guys remember that, but sorry.
It was such a good story. Yeah. And I know it's very famous. A lot of people know it, but like, I was that kid who was like, am I going to go in my closet today and find a forest?
If a portal opens, I know for a fact Brittany will not hesitate to go through it. I will not see my friend again because she'll be like, oh, magical portal, bye.
Nope. I'd be like, Shantae, so this portal opened. Like, if I don't come back, come find me. Take care of everything. Thanks. I love you. Bye.
I'm with you on that though, Brittany. As long as I don't see anything immediately terrifying, like trying to come out of the portal, I'm probably gonna try to explore it.
Right. I don't see why anybody wouldn't. Like, especially if you have that imagination and that like adventurous spirit. Like, as a kid, I was that kid. It didn't matter what I was doing. Everything was an adventure. I'm going outside. I'm battling lava monsters. Like, all of this crap was real to me. So it's like just hearing that story and like it just made my imagination just explode. Yeah. And then as an adult, my favorite book currently is Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. And it, for me, like the story is so I don't know how to even say it. It has so many layers to it. So it's about a guy who is sort of like a bard. His family is part of a traveling troupe, and they put on plays and they play music and all kinds of stuff. And then you basically follow his life story. He's telling it from an adulthood. Like he tells his whole story from when he was young all the way up to where he gets to adulthood, basically. And he takes you on this journey where he learns how to do like magic and like goes on all these adventures, and like it's to me, I love it because it's so real. Like it's not like a story that it's meant to be like start and wrap up. It's like literal life. Like you're reading about this character and it's like you feel like he's real. And that's what like wrapped me into the story. I am sad the third book has not come out yet. It's been a while, but you know, when it does, I'll be the first person in line to get that last part of the trilogy. No.
What about you,
Well,
Mitra?
since Brittany kind of cheated and she did 2 books, I'm going to also.
I cheated?
It was supposed to be 1 book.
When you said what started in your favorite book, and I'm like,
We said
Narnia was my
one book.
favorite as a kid.
Well, you
Go
kind
ahead,
of.
go ahead.
Well, I mean, I'm doing a book from my youth as well, but I did the close runner up to the book was Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume, because I was obsessed with that book when I was a little girl. Like, and I used to do that. I must. I used to do that all the time, and it worked. So there you go.
Genetics worked.
No, it was an exercise. I was dedicated, man. And it was such a formative book just because like I was at that age when I read it. And it's like everybody's obsessed with getting their period. Like we want to become women. Like we're crossing over from like young girlhood into like teenagehood and like more adult or advanced ideas and thoughts and things. And so like that book for me was really helpful as I was going through that time. And I really just was like I said, I was obsessed. And me and my friends had like a whole thing like, who's going to get their period first? And then we got our periods and we're like, we were stupid. Like, why did I want it? No, we didn't know enough. Like we were like, this lets the world know that I'm a woman now. And then you get your period and you're like, I don't want to be a woman anymore. So I love that book. But the book that I chose was Winter of Fire. Um, it's no longer in print. It's by Cheryl Jordan. And this is a book that I read probably when I was like 12 or 13. So right after my Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret phase. This was the next book that really like hit me. And it's about Elsha, and she's one of the Quelled, and the Quelled are basically like a slave group of people. Like they're not to be touched, they're not to be looked at in the eye, like, and they do all the work in the coal mines and stuff like that. And so Elsha has like these powers, and it's like about her journey to like freeing her people. And it ends, and this is why I feel like this book has stuck with me for so long, because it ends leaving you open for more, and the more never ever came. Cheryl Jordan, I am talking about this book right now because I want a damn sequel. Okay. That if you guys see like tag her in this, I want, I don't know. I would like to have a sequel. So that's my main reason for bringing this book, because it's hanging. Like, I'm like, I need to know what happens. Like, there's so much that was built and then nothing happened. And also, this was like the like predates like all of the other like Hunger Games and like those types of books. And so this was like the first book of that kind where it was like a strong female lead that I read, and like in this like fantasy kind of post-apocalyptic steaming world. And I really loved it. I want a sequel. So that was my my reason for bringing this book out.
That's the whole point of this video. She was like, nope.
It was just like my so-called life. Like it just ended. Like,
yeah.
I hate it when that happens.
I don't like when stuff just like, and I'm like, and I can make it up, and I have like come up with endings for for Elsha, but I'm like, it's not my character, it's not my story to tell. And I'm like, Cheryl Jordan, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I would really love if you wrote a sequel. Or if you have written a sequel, you can send it to me and I can read it and I won't tell anybody. I promise. Just let me know what happens. All right. And there's like romance and like lovey-dovey stuff that starts happening. So, you know, like when you're a teen, you're like, ew. But yeah, that was mine.
Wait a minute. Everybody else got to pick two. So now I'm picking a second one. I'm just going to reach behind me and pick it.
I bet I know what it is.
Oh, wait, this isn't the first book. Hold on.
I knew it.
My actual Twilights are downstairs, because they need to be displayed where they belong. So I'll just pull out New Moon. I have all the special editions. We have extra of the special edition New Moon because my husband and I are both Twihards. So that's why Twilight is on my list, because it is one of the things that brought me and my husband together. Because, first of all, it was Selena, which, by the way, Viva la Selena. Anything for Selenas. I love Selena. His brother was making fun of him and was like, he likes Selena. And I was like, what? And so we started talking about that, and then we started talking about Twilight, and we went to like the midnight showings. We went to go meet I have the signed poster here. We waited overnight to go meet some of the cast members at Hot Topic and have them sign our posters. So, you know,
that's so odd.
when he went to basic, the last Twilight movie had come out, and I had seen it because I'm not missing a midnight. Like, I love you, I'm loyal, but like, come on. So I had seen it already, but I managed to keep him from getting any spoilers. So that was really fun to watch him have that surprising moment because we had already read all the books, so it was shocking. But yeah, I'll say Twilight, and like Hunger Games is probably up there too. That's another one that me and him really love, or like the Clockwork.
You're getting a third one. I won't.
She started on a fourth one. She said the Clockwork Princess.
Sorry, I'm just saying, like, in general, my husband and I are book nerds, and reading is one of the things that really solidifies our bond. We like to read books and like share how we feel about them together, and I think it's important to read together and find someone that you can share your love of reading with, or find someone like have our book club, the Bonobos. The other book, which makes me think of our book club, and the reason we're called the Bonobos, is The Bandit Queens by Perini Schroff. It is 10 stars out of 10 stars. It is so good, and it really highlights the importance of sisterhood, which I think is like a bonding factor in what our Bonobos book club is, and we just love it so much. And just quick shout out to Fictionary Podcast by Deetra, my sister, the awesome our mermaid queen, our unicorn queen down below. She actually did an interview with Perini, the author of The Bandit Queens, and it was just amazing. And if you want to tell us about it, Deetra.
Yeah, so I did get the opportunity to speak with Perini. She's super cool. It was a very chill interview. Like, I was very nervous because we all loved the book so much, but she was very friendly. She was very informative about like why she chose some of the themes that she did. I think that if you guys do listen to it, this is not like plugging it, but if you want to like learn more about the book and the author, then the podcast is a good way to go about it. And she's so cool. Like, we had fun. We were sipping on some wine while we chatted. So it's fun. Yeah, and the book itself is, like Shantae said, it's so amazing. It's a really beautiful tale of like sisterhood and like how friendships change and develop over the years, and how your circle grows and sometimes shrinks. And it's really well done. It's really well done. Like, so we definitely recommend it.
Yes.
But yeah, so, we could go on and on about books, and maybe this will be something that we do in the future. Obviously, like, we will talk about books more in the future, but we'll see like what we do, because like we read so much, and we do have a book club where we read a lot of books. So maybe we'll start doing like some little book reviews or something for you guys.
And can we just do a quick shout out for our own books? I will say.
Yes.
I gotta get mine.
First series. Yeah, go get it. I'll zoom in on me while I'm talking about mine, and then zoom in on you. So go grab it. So Deetra has her podcast, Fictionary Podcast. You should go check it out. It is I listen to it on Apple. I don't know. Deidre, can you tell us where else you can?
Yeah, it's available on basically all streaming platforms, like anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you search Fictionary Podcast, you will find it. It's a black and white logo with red writing and a little microphone.
It's
I
the only
designed it.
podcast I listen to. I'm not a podcast listener. It's the only one I listen to, and I really like it.
Well, thank you.
For Book Lovers Day, if you want to check out my books, I write under Shantae Oliver. My books are the Dream Weaver series. There's the Dream Weaver, the Dream Deceiver, and the Dream Redeemer. It's a 3-part series. You didn't hear stuff knock over. I'm a totally organized person.
No, you told us in like I think the last episode that you're not, so it's okay.
No, you don't need to listen. It's fine. But anyways, it's a fantasy series. This is actually probably why I'm the fairy in our group, because it's about fairies and, well, dream traveling fairies. And I really enjoyed writing this. I actually started writing it in California when I lived at the same base as Brittany, and we started writing in the library together. And it's a lot of fun having that encouragement, having writer partners and being like, hey, you should finish your book. And then like, look, I freaking did. I'm a writer. Yay. And the book Brittany started writing about was
The Unseen. This is a story that I started years ago. And then I repicked it up when I met Shantae, because I felt like, oh God, this is not going anywhere. And then we pushed each other to complete our first book. My first book is the only one I have out right now. I'm still working on book 2, but it is a fantasy, and it is like I can't, you know what? Like earlier in the video, Deidre was explaining her favorite book, and I was making facial expressions because the plot was similar to what my book is about. And I was like, oh my God.
Well, that's also why I really love your book, Brittany. So there you go.
But yes, I'm still working on the second book, but I love it. It's one of my favorite things. Like, I created this world from scratch. It's got fairies. It's got all kinds of different fantasy creatures and war and all kinds of things that will make you cry, scream, and laugh. So
Yay. I just want to say, as someone who's read both of their books, they're amazing. They're great writers, and I love the worlds that they've created. So I definitely recommend going on Amazon or wherever and purchasing their books. Support some writers, guys. They did this themselves. They self-published, and they did an amazing job.
We even did interviews with Deidre on Fictionary. So if you want to, yeah, learn more a little bit about our books too, you can check that out as well.
Oh, one more plug, because Shantae didn't say anything about it, but she's also in the Kindle Vellies competition. So she has a book, a serialized story called Drawn into Love. If you like K-dramas and you like web comics, this is the series for you. And even if you don't, this is the series for you. Go to yes, go to Kindle Vella and make sure that you follow, support, like all of the episodes, make comments. Like, the more engagement that she gets, the higher her chance of ranking in the competition is and potentially winning. So definitely go out and show some support. Thanks. Woo-hoo. So, we talked about the books we love. We talked about the books that they've written and, books that have impacted our lives. Tell us a little bit in the comments about maybe a book that you really love or you recommend for us and why you love it, because we'd love to, read some more. But that's all that we have for you guys this week. If you haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share our videos. Tell everybody you know to come and join us at the Scribbler set. Till next time, we'll see you again.